Good morning.
Good morning.
There we go. That's the enthusiasm we want you to bring to this event this day. Welcome to UMass Amherst. My name is Mike Drish. I'm the Director of First Year Admissions here at UMass, so that's why I'm especially happy to see you all here, because it's nice to see faces of the students that we offered admission, which is always a good thing in the admissions office, because we only get to see you on a screen for when we review your application. So it's great to see so many admitted students and their families, and the first thing that I would like to do is to tell you congratulations. And parents especially join me in congratulating your children on their admission. This was, by far, the most competitive admissions process we've had at UMass Amherst. So the fact that you were admitted is something you absolutely should celebrate. We had more applications than ever, which meant that we unfortunately had to say no to a number of students, but you were those students that we were able to offer admission to, so celebrate that, be happy about that, and hopefully today we'll introduce you to what the UMass experience can offer you, so that either in the next few weeks or the next couple months, you'll be in a great position to make the choice that is right for you. And so before we jump into the new student orientation and transition experience, which is what we're here to learn more about, overall for the new student experience though at UMass, where will your UMass education take you? And obviously one of the biggest benefits to UMass is our size. We're a large public research university, and there are so many benefits that come with a campus of our size. One of them is the fact that you will be a part of an alumni network when you graduate that's over 300,000 across the nation and across the globe. You'll learn very quickly, especially those of you who can start wearing your knit hat, that people will recognize the name, they'll have something to say, and that could be in Boston or Worcester, or it could be in Hong Kong or Sydney, which is a great element to your alma mater or the place that you'll ultimately enroll. So you're very sought after, both as a UMass student for internships and co-ops and other experiences, but then also as a graduate, incredible placement in jobs or graduate or professional school. And the reason why that's the case is because during your 4 years here, and yes, the majority of our students graduate in 4 years. We actually are one of the top public research universities for our 4-year graduation rate. So you're set up for success with new student orientation and transition, and that leads right to graduating on time in 4 years. But during your 4 years here, you take amazing classes, you'll pursue research, which it's not a question of whether or not you will do research, it's what do you want to do research in. You could be a history major, you could be an engineering major, there's a wealth of research opportunities. You will get involved with real world experience, as I mentioned, through co-ops or internships. You'll connect with those employers or the pre-health, pre-law advising or other areas if you're interested in going on to professional or grad school. And then 4 years from now, roughly, many of you will be preparing for graduation from UMass or wherever you may enroll, which is hard to believe, I'm sure, for many of you. And then you'll continue to be an engaged member of this campus community, because if you come to UMass or wherever you go to college, it becomes a big part of who you are. So that's why today is such an important day, because you start to get a great lens into, is UMass the place where you can see yourself thriving, succeeding, loving the experience, so that you have a great 4 years, and the 40 after that, because you went to UMass, sets you up for success as well. So that said though, we've done what you need us to do in admissions, so I'll stop talking. And obviously you can tell we love this place a lot. But I'm happy to introduce our Director of New Student Orientation and Transitions, Pearson, who's going to walk you through that new student experience. So join me in welcoming Pearson to the stage. Thank you, Pearson.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am convinced that me and Mike are probably the two most excited people to welcome you to UMass, because it's everything that we do. It's our job to really ensure that our incoming students and their families are taken care of and have a phenomenal transition experience. So as he said, my name is Pearson. I serve as the Director of New Student Orientation and Transitions, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the new student experience and what you can expect as you begin to transition to the University of Massachusetts Amherst. I always appreciate how our friends in admissions are really optimistic about if you choose UMass or wherever you go. Well, I'm the director of New Student Orientation and Transitions, so I'm going to say when you come to UMass and when you transition to this institution, and we'll just talk in that realm for the next couple of minutes as we're talking through your new student experience. So in New Student Orientation and Transitions, we cover a couple of different experiences to help you get ready for this transition. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Next for the U, Guide to the U, Ready for the U, and Welcome to the U. And if you're like, oh, this U thing is like a trend, you're absolutely right, because we wanted to create an experience that is built with you in mind. You as students, you as family members, to ensure that we are helpful in your successful transition to UMass. So we'll talk through a few of those things to ensure that you're ready. So the first part of our new student experience is called Next for the U. So oftentimes, really right now, probably while most of you are sitting here, the question after you get accepted is, well, what's next? What happens next? And so we want to make sure that we are communicating with you as early and as effective as possible. So the first step in your experience is that you get signed up for what's called our Next for the U newsletter. This goes to all of our incoming first year and transfer students, and we communicate with you through the first 18 weeks and 63 days. And yes, there is a reason. So 18 weeks, there are exactly 18 weeks between deposit, the day that you deposit, or early May, around May 1, and when you move in. So every week for 18 weeks, we're going to send you an email that tells you what's next, so that you don't miss anything. So if you're like, I don't know if I'm going to miss the housing preference deadline, or signing up for a rep, or signing up for Ready for the U, whatever the case may be, we're going to prep you every single week for what's next. So that does go to the student's email, and so students, you're going to want to make sure that you log in and activate your UMass email account, and that you're checking it early, often, and regularly to be able to get all of those updates. We'll also host them up online, so our family members have an opportunity to be able to see them as well. So that's what we call our Next for the U newsletter. We also communicate with you through the first 63 days of the semester, recognizing that your transition doesn't just happen at one time or during one place. And so we communicate with you through the first 63 days of the semester that roughly gets you until about November, because we recognize that there's still lots of things that you'll want to learn and explore, and our research on new students tells us that it roughly takes about 6 to 9 weeks in order to get adjusted. And so we want to make sure that we're still communicating and we're still providing those resources. And then one of the things that we're really passionate about at UMass is inspiring university affinity. And so if you're like, I still don't get it, why is it 18 weeks and 63 days? In addition to there being 18 weeks between deposit and when you'll actually move into UMass, 1863 is also when the university was founded. And so it works out really beautifully, and hopefully you'll never forget it. So the next step after you get signed up for Next for the U is to go in and start looking at Guide to the U. So Guide to the U is a series of self-paced modules that is completely online. Again, both our students and our family members have access to Guide to the U, and it actually opens in April. Because again, I like to talk like you are already coming here, and so if you're looking for something that you want to be able to start and check off your list, we wanted to be able to make sure that we have something available early before deposit, so it actually opens in April. All of our students are required to complete the Guide to the U before you can attend Ready for the U, before you can sign up for advising and course registration, because it really is that introduction into our resources, people, places, and things that you're going to need in order to be successful. Guide to the U updates every single semester. So every semester we have new students joining our community, and so us in New Student Orientation and Transition, we go out and we bug all of those people and we say, update your information, what has changed, so that we can make sure that our new students and their family members have the most up-to-date information. And so what that means for you is that even in your sophomore, junior, and senior year, if you're looking for a piece of information, you can go back to Guide to the U, and it's always going to be the most up-to-date information at the university, because again, we're updating it for every incoming cohort of students for both fall and for spring. So Guide to the U does have a deadline. We're going to ask that for our first year students that you complete it by June 1st, so that then we can move on to the next step in your experience. So again, it will open in April, on April 3rd specifically, and then we ask that you have that complete by June 1st. So then after that, you'll have the opportunity to sign up to what we call Ready for the U. And the biggest difference between Ready for the U and Guide to the U is Ready for the U is an immersive experience. So this is when you're actually talking to other new students, you're having facilitated presentations, you're able to engage and ask questions live. There are a couple of different opportunities to go to Ready for the U, and so one of the things that we learned as we navigated living with COVID and living in a shifting world is that we wanted to make sure that Ready for the U is accessible no matter what you're doing over the course of the summer. So you can participate, or you will participate because it's required, in Ready for the U on a 2-day overnight experience on campus where you can stay in a residence hall. We stay up in Orchard Hill for our students. You can participate in a 1-day on-campus experience where, again, you're coming to campus, you're just not spending the night, or you can participate in an online experience. And so we recognize that there's lots of things that are happening over the course of the summer, and so we want to be able to provide a modality that works best for you. Ready for the U will begin on June 14th, so that's going to be our very first session, and our very last session is going to be on July 31st. And so we'll have those 2 and 1-day and online sessions over the course of that period of time. And so if you're wondering why we haven't started in June 1st, it's because we don't start until June 14th. And so you have some time to really determine what modality works best for you. Similar to some of our admissions events, some colleges are at some Ready for the U events, other colleges are at other Ready for the U events, so it really depends on what your major is, but everyone has an opportunity to participate in whatever type of modality that you want. So every college will participate in several 2-day overnight on-campus experiences, every college will participate in a 1-day, and every college will participate in an online. So you have an opportunity to be able to engage in that. For our family members, we welcome you to attend with your students. We try to build as many sessions as we possibly can, and we host Ready for the U, the on-campus experiences, right in this same building, so you already know where it is, and we're able to engage with you and ensure that you have resources to ensure your students' success as well. So Ready for the U registration will open on May 1st, so the same day that your deposit is due. And so you have the opportunity to look at the dates and determine what's going to work best for you. And we ask that you sign up by June 1st. So again, we'll do that Guide to the U, and then we'll do Ready for the U. After that, once you are all ready, we will facilitate Welcome to the U. And so Welcome to the U starts when you arrive on campus. So from the moment that you move in, we have opportunities to engage and get you connected to other new students, to other campus resources, to our current students, to really, again, be excited about welcoming you to our institution. So we'll kick it off with Frost Fest, which will happen right outside in the Union Plaza. And that's really just an informal opportunity for you to have something to engage in once you're all moved in. You get moved in, you go to a dining hall, you come here, you hear some music, you're able to engage with other family members and other students, you're able to play a little mini golf, whatever the case may be, and we'll kick it off right during the event. Then you'll go into the kickoff carnival, you'll have Come Home to Your College, Mall Madness, where we bust you out to the Hampshire Mall, You Play, where we coordinate with campus recreation out in the intramural fields. We'll have an academic welcome with new student convocation, and then we'll close it out with UMass on Good Avalon, which is a resource there. And so there's lots of different opportunities to get engaged in Welcome to the U. All of the events during the first 4 days of Welcome to the U are required for our first-year students. That's why we move you in early, early so that we give you an opportunity to get adjusted and get acclimated and spend some time on campus before classes begin. And so your RAs, your resident assistants, and your peer mentors, and your orientation and transition leaders will guide and facilitate you to those different experiences. And so for the first 4 days of the semester, those opportunities are required. So I want to make sure that we also spend a little time talking about advising and course registration. And yes, I know there's a typo up there. So advising and course registration, we recognize that this is one of the most important aspects of you becoming a student, being able to register for classes and get a course schedule. So advising and course registration, a couple of important things to remember is that it occurs online. All first-year students will participate in an online advising and course registration appointment, but in order to do that, you first have to complete your placement assessments, you then have to complete guides and review, and register for Ready for You. So if you get to a point and you're wondering why you haven't heard from your advisor or you haven't been able to register for classes, it's very likely because you haven't done one of these 3 things first. So advising and course registration also doesn't start until June 14th, but again, we're asking that you complete all of those things by June 1st so that we can make sure that you're ready for your advising and course registration appointment. The advisors will, of course, reach out to you via your UMass email address. So again, very important that you're checking that frequently and often, and that you've completed those things on the other page to ensure that you are ready to go. You'll also be able to make that appointment in Navigate. Navigate is a system that all of our current students utilize to be able to make an advising and course registration appointment. And so we want to make sure that you know how to utilize that software already during your new student experience. So you'll set up your appointment via there. And then, of course, you'll receive a unique link to make sure to set up your advising and course registration appointment. But the most important things to remember is that your appointment will be online. Your appointment won't conflict with your Ready for the U date. Because again, we've asked that you register for Ready for the U prior to making your advising appointment so that your advisors know that that's an unavailable date for you to be able to do your advising and course registration appointments. So you'll want to make sure that you're taking care of those 3 things all before June 1st. And then, of course, we want to make sure that you have all of the timelines and all of the guides. So what we recognize is that the new student experience is more than just Next for the U, Guide to the U, Ready for the U, and Welcome to the U. There are all kinds of things that you need to be able to complete along this journey. And so we made a nice little timeline. So once you go to our website, you'll see this. It's hard to see up there. I like it because it looks like Candyland. But what it is it maps the journey. If you don't know what Candyland is, I just maybe revealed my age. But one of the things that we want to make sure to do is map the experience for you and ensure that it is cohesive. And so it starts with the very first things that you're supposed to do all the way through drop out. And so if you're ever wondering where you're falling on the timeline, it's up on our website for you to be able to see. It includes things like the housing preference, application deadline, uploading your U-card photo deadline, uploading your immunizations, signing up for a residential academic program. And so recognizing that while I will coordinate all of those things are a part of your new student experience. And so getting all of those campus partners to get it on one timeline for you to be able to accessibly see. And if you're like me and you're a calendar gal, or you want to write it down, whatever makes sense to you, we want to make sure that we're able to provide that for you. So this is up on our website. I'll put that QR code back up as well so that you're able to see all of those timelines. The other one that I didn't mention is the placement assessments. And so several students have placement assessments that they need to take before they participate in academic advising and course registration. And those are also due on June 1st. And so if you're looking for kind of a really tough deadline or a really solid deadline, it's very likely that it's going to be June 1st to make sure that you're getting in all of those materials. And so I said earlier that I talk as if you're already coming. So of course, if you go ahead and deposit early, you can start doing some of those things as early as April. And so we're really looking forward to your experience. I will stick around. I know we've got a couple of minutes. But I will stick around to be able to answer any questions and ensure that this is cohesive. I'll leave this slide up as well. We are really excited to be able to see you in the summer for Ready for the U. I always joke with my admissions friends that despite the great weather that you have today, I think I make it even better weather over the summer, and we're really excited to be able to see you. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you this summer.
All right, so as we wrap up, because I want to make sure you have plenty of time to ask any questions about the journey to UMass from Pearson, just a few things as a quick reminder, kind of what comes next. So an important thing to consider, the March 1st deadline to file the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. Whether or not you think you'll get financial assistance, it's not a bad idea to submit it, because the worst thing you can be told is no, but it would be unfortunate if you didn't do it, you found out that you could have gotten any little bit of money cut from the cost of this institution or any place. So definitely keep that in mind. As you heard Pearson talk about, we really, May 1 is a big date in college admissions and higher ed. That's your deadline to say yes or no. And from that point forward is when your journey to UMass really begins. So remember that you have between now and May 1 to say yes or no to us. And that's when obviously Ready for the U opens. If you're obviously planning to live on campus, which 100% of our first year students do, that application opens in June, so you don't have to worry about doing anything with housing, even if you deposit in the next few weeks. There's really nothing you need to take action on immediately. That all usually happens after May. And we do require you to submit your official high school transcript over the summer, so you work with your school to do that. That's just so that we can see that you finished strong and that you will be ready to hit the ground running when you get to UMass after all of those celebratory aspects of new student orientation and transition, so that you're ready to really succeed in the classroom. So there are plenty of ways to stay connected with us here at UMass and also in admissions. So if you haven't reached out to us before, or depending on today, sorry about that, you have a lot of ways to kind of stay connected, to reach out. Obviously today's a great day to get a lot of questions answered, but we know that after today, questions may come up, and even though you're an admitted student, you're not bugging us. If you contact admissions, we're happy to help you out still. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. And then remember, if you have any questions about the schedule today, let us know. We have one of our student representatives in the back. I'll stay in the front. Myself and Jared are both here from admissions. And so if you have questions about where you're going next or what you're wanting to do for the rest of the day, feel free to let us know. But that said, we're really glad that you're here today. We're confident you will make the right choice in terms of enrolling in college. And obviously we're biased. We think that should be UMass Amherst. So we hope that we'll see most of you, if not all of you, on campus this summer and in the fall. But enjoy the rest of the day. Congratulations on your admission, and go UMass. Thanks, everyone.